What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, back with some more boxing. Now, I did a rant a couple days ago, and I was upset because we had a multitude of boxers: Miguel Cotto, Canelo, Manny Pacquiao, and Floyd Mayweather, superstars in the sport, rock stars, and we don't know who they're fighting. We know they're fighting, we know the dates they're fighting, but we didn't know who they were fighting. So I was kind of upset just because it's been a lot of theatrics and politics lately in boxing. Mayweather posting Instagram photos of possible opponents, but no one coming out and saying it. Canelo, however, and Golden Boy, they were the first out of the bunch to step up to the plate and announce who they would be fighting in March. Granted, Canelo's fight is happening sooner than Mayweather's fighting in May, and Pacquiao's fighting in April, and Cotto is going to fight in June. So they obviously have a little bit more time, so Canelo needed to announce his opponent so they could build up the fight, do the promotional shit. However, he stepped up. He announced that he's fighting Alfredo Angulo. I think it's a good fight. I made a video as soon as I heard about it, did a little graphic for you guys, and I think it's a solid fight. Then what do I hear? People in boxing forums, in the YTBC, complaining. Now, if you look at this fight, you can complain. You can say, oh, he's not fighting Lara. He's not fighting Erislandy Lara. He's not fighting Kirkland. He's not fighting Chavez Jr., Triple G. At the end of the day, some of these fans are not realistic. And the funny thing is, some of you guys probably have never been in a street fight, a day in your life, yet you are so critical. You want to talk. You think your opinion is so valid. And these guys are risking their health. And I understand you want to be entertained, you want to see a good slugfest or whatever the situation may be, but this shit is not a game. This is real life. This is their career. This is their life. Boxing is brutal. Just the other day in Tokyo, a Japanese fighter, age 21, died in his professional debut. Died. Like, he's no longer on this planet. His name was Teshin Okada. I didn't do a story on it separately. But this is what happens in the sport of boxing, or what could happen. I mean, the man is 21 years old, just turned pro. That's a huge accomplishment. Died in the final round of his bout. Like this, it just lets you know how serious this sport can be. I mean, to be as young as 21, no one deserves to lose their life at age 21. And then to turn pro, that's supposed to be an accomplishment, an achievement, an accolade, not the last time you're here on this earth. And then to lose your life in the very final round, you were almost done. You were almost done with your first fight, and that happened. A brutal punch knocks him out. He lost consciousness, slips into a coma, and then dies later on. This is real life, man. They're trying to entertain, trying to make a livelihood for their family. It's deeper than just punch, someone gets knocked out, or go to a decision. This is life, and this is a job for these fighters. So I don't know what you guys do for a living or whatever, but just get a little bit more realistic. Like I said, Canelo, he's young. He's in his early 20s. He was turned pro when he was 15, and he had been undefeated for quite some time. He had 40-plus fights, undefeated. Just lost. He started stepping up his competition. Austin Trout, Mayweather. Just lost to Mayweather convincingly in a dominant fashion from Mayweather. And now he needs to make a comeback. He's a huge star. He could put asses in the seats. We know this. And he has to make a comeback. The Erislandy Lara fight, don't get me wrong, I want to see it. But right now, if you really look at it, does that make sense for his career? To fight Erislandy Lara, who's gaining momentum, just beat Alfredo Angulo in a tough fight, a hard-fought fight, with the fighter Canelo is now going to be facing, and he just looked spectacular against Austin Trout. Now, it has the makings for a good fight, but it's not a smart fight for Canelo to take right now. And I'm okay with that. However, if Canelo chose to keep fighting Carlos Baldomir at age 40, 41, fighting Matthew Hattons and Rhodes and shit like that, older Shane Mosley, then that would be a problem. But he started stepping up his competition. He beat Austin Trout. He actually had Trout hurt. Then he beat Mayweather. For him to go back into the fire and fight a Erislandy Lara, who's being ranked as the best guy at 154. We know Floyd Mayweather dabbles at 154, but that's not his permanent home. He's not necessarily a 154-pound fighter. He's been there 2.5 times if you count the catch weight. That's the halftime. I just think some of you guys aren't being realistic. Canelo fighting Angulo, to me, is a solid fight. Don't know if it's pay-per-view worthy, but out of the list of opponents, no one really was, unless it was Miguel Cotto, or like a Mayweather or Pacquiao. And Mayweather already clearly beat him, so there's no point to even have that rematch, especially right after. Miguel Cotto would have been a good match that I would have loved to see, but he's looking in other directions, and he turned down the fight. So it really left James Kirkland. Gennady Golovkin's already fighting someone, and he fights at 160 anyway. Chavez Jr. needs to set the record straight with the Brian Vera, and I think they're having that scheduled. So really, he could have fought K9 Bundridge, who's like 40, and I haven't even heard much from K9. No disrespect to him, just ain't heard from him since he lost his belt to Ishe Smith. Ishe Smith just lost, so that left Canelo primarily with Andrade, who I don't even know if he wants to fight because he's still an up-and-comer, and he doesn't have a fan base. So if they're trying to market the pay-per-view, Carlos Molina, Kirkland, or Erislandy Lara. Now, again, Erislandy Lara, it's a terrific fight. I want to see it, but let the man get his confidence back. If he keeps not fighting Erislandy Lara, let's say he gets past Angulo, then we can have the outcry and the emotions or whatever. But coming off a loss, who wants to take a Erislandy Lara fight, a difficult style, a tricky southpaw? This is his career that's at stake. And I'm not making excuses. I mean, I would say the same for anyone. Adrian Broner, after the Marcos Maidana loss, I'm not saying he needs to fight a bum, but maybe you don't want to fight Marcos Maidana immediately after. Build your confidence back. I give people a pat, like Amir Khan. Amir Khan lost to Danny Garcia bad. He had 2 tune-up fights. Cool. He fought Carlos Molina, then he fought Julio Diaz at a catchweight. Now it's time to start getting back on track if you're supposed to be this heralded superstar. And that's the same expectation that I would have for anybody, Canelo or anybody, Broner, it doesn't matter. But immediately after a loss, you don't want to have career suicide. So again, some of the fans are being far too picky. And I'd much rather see Angulo versus Carlos Molina. Carlos Molina, not a bad fighter, but it's very difficult to look good against. He's awkward. He didn't even look great to me in the Ishe Smith fight. And that's not a pay-per-view seller. And so all around, that's just a ugly fight to watch against someone like Canelo. I think Angulo is a solid fight. It's a tough. We know Angulo's tough. He gave Kirkland problems. He gave Erislandy Lara problems, knocked him down twice. And now some of you guys are complaining that he's not fighting Erislandy Lara, the person who looked like could possibly lose that fight. The person who looks like could possibly lose to Angulo, and a freak accident exploded Angulo's face. Now you guys are complaining that he's not fighting Erislandy Lara. It's like some of you guys think so for the moment. Erislandy Lara looked great against Trout, so Canelo immediately has to fight him. Like, let him rebuild. Let him fight the easier, less problematic fighter. You know what Angulo's coming to do. See if he passes that test, and then get him back on track. So some of you guys just aren't realistic. Your expectations are fucking horrendous. Things that you know if you were the fighter or if you're the fighter's dad or some shit, you would not do. Like Anderson Silva just kicked his fucking leg off, and some of you guys want to see it's January. Some of you would be like, oh, Anderson Silva needs to rematch Chris Weidman by St. Patrick's Day. Like, come on, man. Like, how logical is that would happen? Canelo's coming off a loss. Let him get his mojo back and get back into the swing of things. And Angulo is not a pushover opponent. He's slow as fuck, but the motherfucker can crack. So it's not just a walk in the park, especially with the new trainer, Virgil Hunter. Looks like he's trying to step up Angulo's like ring IQ, I guess you could say, and overall just fight intelligence. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.